I started my journey in game jams only, so that's why I'm like more attached to the game jams.
But which year was this when you actually started?
I was waiting to work in an indie studio in Chennai. Even like I told, like I don't need any pay, but I want to work. So in 2015, we started the studio. So it took us 4 years to make a revenue out of games. One thing they need to learn is like you'll be having like zero balance in your account for a very long time.
Yeah, the problem is that they start really big.
I remember like the first game that we put outside, and I was upset like they didn't get any downloads.
Give us like a top line of all these hyper casual games that you made. How much did they work?
Me and Dilip used to work, like 4 games per week. In a week, like we went to top charts in 108 countries, and we were in number 1 actually that time. That time, like the cohort 1 is not announced. Like everyone like very confused, like what the scene is, like whether we gonna get the ISP or not. That's where we found the soul of the game. That's when like we got the Bloody Boots title at 2023, I guess. We were like that time unrealistic.
Welcome to the Great Indian Gaming Podcast, brother. How do you feel?
Thank you, bro. It was a pleasure to have myself here. Like it's been a very long time, since we want to do this. But yeah, this is the right time, I guess.
Yeah. There's a lot of work going on in both the studios.
Yeah.
So I actually couldn't figure out the right time. But glad that you came to Mumbai for Waves.
Yes.
You represent the jury for the game jam at Waves, right?
Yes.
How are the games that were submitted?
Actually, so we were doing this game jam for a very long time. So we will be in the award team, like we'll be judging many games for the last 2-3 years, like we are doing that. But like, I feel like a lot of progression happened in terms of the students or the new devs coming in doing game jams. But this year especially, like I liked, what the thing I liked is they have like a pitch presentation, the Waves. And I felt like many of the devs are like very proper with their pitches. They did some market researches and even like they have punchlines for the games.
Got it.
So it was a little surprising. And when I communicated with them, they said, like we were watching through the GDC talks, and that helped us to make the pitch presentation. Before, like I know, like I remember the pitch in our days, like in the old days, like we don't have any other resources. Like I remember my first pitch, it was at IGDC only. Not that time, it's in NASCOM GDC. We just have the gameplay trailer, and this is what it is. And that time we thought like everything was cool, fine. We're gonna get everything and all. But like right now, then like it took a lot of time for us to learn. Okay, this is how you need to pitch a game and all. But I'm like happy to see all the devs like figuring out earlier itself now.
So what I also observed, like what you're seeing is, we just came up with our games, and in any of the events where we wanted to pitch, even we participated in game jams.
Yeah.
And we just gave the games.
Yeah.
Did the pitch. But to see the growth of the younger folks from not just pitching the games, but actually having a material with a pitch deck with say mission statements and the scalability of the game and all that stuff together, that's incredible, man. That's an incredible growth I can see in the industry.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of times like I also wonder like when that time like it was like you blindfolded yourself, like you just let yourself in, there's no one to guide, like you don't have anything to do. Even like I started my journey in game jams only, so that's why I'm like more attached to the game jams specifically. So right now, like even the quality of the games also improved, and because game jam is like one of the place that you can explore things apart from what you need to do to the market. You don't need to think about the market. You don't need to think about will this game work out or not, like to the audience. It was just like pure thing. Like always, like when I asked for the game jam, especially for the global game jam, because like we do that every year in our home. That time we'll see like what one thing we'll tell all the jammers to be like do something different than your usual stuff. Don't stuck with like only things that you do.
Yeah.
Try to explore the stuff. At least like one good thing that you need to learn from a game jam and go. So that will help you when it comes to the. It'll help you in terms of exploring your knowledge, like and widening your dev or tech, or, I mean like design, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that one, like I think every devs need to have in their mind. That's the place where you will get a out of the box idea as well.
Correct. Without being.
Yeah. Because when we used to think of a game, when we make to develop a game, like we always think about the market first, like will it work or not. You usually have these boundaries, like you should not do this, you shouldn't try this. Some risk factors are there.
Absolutely.
So that's the place where you don't have anything.
This is a more experimental zone. Plus, while you're doing that, you learn a lot of stuff like collaboration, time management, because it's like limited, right? Yeah. But all that aside, let me get to you, man. Give us like a quick introduction to the audience. Let us know what you're doing, who you are.
Okay, so I'm Mario Royston. So I'm the co-founder of Weloadin, and I'm the studio head. I started the studio, like me and my friend, who's my college mate. His name is Dilip Arjun, who's the creative director and co-founder of Weloadin. So we both started together. So initially, like we wanted to work on indie games because that's our goal.
Yeah.
When we studied, like we thought always like we have to work on the bigger games.
You actually did like an institute college.
Yes.
Which one is it?
It's ICAT.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of actually alumni is from ICAT, I know.
Yeah. I think there are. Yeah.
Who basically run studios right now.
Yes. Himanshu is also.
Yeah.
And one more, I don't know, like some people are there, but I would say like these institutes are like it's a good place for you to get the connections basically, because right now in our team we were like like there are like a lot of people connected because of the alumni, seniors, juniors. So everyone is connected, like everyone will be in different studio in different fields as well. Right. So even if I need someone from animation department or VFX department,
you'll know them.
I'll know them. Like so we can like easily get in touch with them, or do contacts, like we can get in there. So we will be having like any people will be there in any of the studio, in bigger studios. So that's actually helping us as well to get some insights, like how to approach a technique. Even if it's not related to game development, let's say if we're having a mocap shoot or something like that, there's few techniques that we don't know, we haven't explored.
Correct.
So these people might have, and they will like suggest few things that will help us. So that was like one. Always like when whatever college it is, I would say like it would be best like if you.
It's actually a good kickstart to your career, right?
Yeah, it also like building networks. So that's the place like you need to build your first network.
Yeah.
So apart from that, like then when you come into the field, and like you have to obviously meet many people.
Yeah.
But that's the right, when you're learning the things, you need to learn that as well.
Yeah, but also making sure that the right institute.
Yeah, but like I don't know what institute it is, but not only in this, I also felt for a very long time, the institutes are not good and all. But this is a common problem for every institute in every field.
In every field.
Yeah, correct. So wherever you are, like whatever the thing is, like you need to put all your effort. Like no one is gonna help it.
Yeah. Right from the old engineering days that I face the same thing.
Because like who is there to help you?
So it's your work. But which year was this when you actually started?
It was 2015. I was waiting to work in an indie studio in Chennai. Before that, like I was working for a 6 months internship during my college days. That's where like I learned game development more in depth.
That's also in a gaming company.
Yeah, it's a small home studio kind of thing. Like he used to work in abroad and have a small space where like a couple of devs, and like right now all the devs are in code masters and all.
Yeah.
So I learned from them. I know the basics of programming and all. Then later on, like when I went there, I know how to structure the game codes and pipeline and everything. That helped me to think like, okay, this is the right way to make a game. Let's say even if I want to make some small mobile game and make it optimized in a way that like it can be published. So that technique I learned there in 6 months. So when I go out of the college, like I was waiting for an indie game. Yeah, I was like, I want to work in indie games.
Yeah.
Even like I told, like I don't need any pay, but I want to work.
Yeah.
At least like for 6 months, I need to work on a game. But like sadly, it didn't happen. And Dilip was also trying the same thing. So we were in an agreement, like after 1 year we'll start the studio, but it didn't happen. So we thought like, okay, let's put and try it out. So that's when we we tested one game called Trippy Trap, and nothing will be in store right now. So that is like a trippy ball that bounces through the edges of the blocks, and you just tap, you just move to the next box.
Yeah.
And it's like a trippy coloring things. So and that was a good experience actually. Because
But do you think the 6 months internship that you did, because it was in the live environment where actually somebody was making games, that helped you in in making decisions while you're
in terms of programming, in terms of development, yes, it is. But in terms of design, no.
Got it.
No, because those projects are like the already design or sorted. Like we just need to work.
Yeah, absolutely. But the ethics of
the
production,
development,
everything.
that is.
And that is like, what's your take on somebody who actually wants to directly jump into starting it, versus recommending someone to actually work somewhere first for like whatever duration they can and then start it? What's your take on that?
Okay, I'll come to the hard part there. Okay, so in 2015, like we started the studio. So it took us 4 years to make a revenue out of games.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the reality. Okay, here like we need to support. Like obviously, like for the first 2 years, like our family supported.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide. So we had the liberty, and like because like we don't have any other commitment in our home, so it's just like we have to take care of ourselves. Then later on, like we started to do some freelances, and we took care of ourselves. And slowly, like we started to make the games. But like, see, we were working on a game called Play God for like I think 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So that was a very long time.
I love the game, man. I saw it back in I think 2018 when we
2017 I guess 17 at the Casual Credit Asia, Singapore. Yeah.
I loved the game, man. It was like quite cozy puzzle.
Yeah, it is like we still have that, but it's not in the store. Maybe like sometimes, like even like many people in the studio say like you should like put it out at least, like to showcase it. But yeah, I think like we'll put it out sometimes. Because all the code, it was like single-handedly coded by me, and even like everything was very old right now, because we were using XML to load the levels, and then JSON changed, and even the Unity versions have been upgraded. So like even like right now our mobile team, like they wanted to take that up in their free time, and they said like we'll post it and like upload it on the stores. And so like I said, like you go ahead, like feel free to do it, like I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but coming back to the discussion point that we were having, does this help working with someone first?
No, actually it will help for sure. If you close your eyes and you jump it, like if you're like smart enough to figure it out like earlier, I think you can. But one thing they need to learn is like you won't get success in your first game.
Yeah.
It's a hard truth. So be prepared for that, I would say. And like you have to you need a lot of patience, I would say.
Yeah.
Lot of patience.
Right.
And you will be having like zero balance in your account for a very long time. You won't even have anything. So there are like a lot of hardship. Maybe like it was good to see every of us like right now at this, but like everyone goes through the same phase.
Absolutely.
So when you start early, there maybe like risk I would say like the small, because like if it's like no one else, like it's just you have to take care of yourself. You can try, but don't spend more time on that. Like if it's not working out.
Yeah, the problem is that even like I've seen a lot of youngsters who actually they start really big.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is, and then there is demotivation, there's depression and all. I would just definitely recommend to start small.
Yes.
Even if it's like you're not working
Even
somewhere else.
to what do you say, like even if we start small, we also small.
Yeah,
small
we are also.
and it's not actually work the way that you think. Because
Yeah.
I remember like the first game that we put outside, and I was upset like it didn't get any downloads. To my knowledge, like that much only I had that time.
Yeah.
Then later on, I realized, okay, like there are a lot of stuff behind the
Correct,
mobile game development in terms of marketing, analytics, data-driven design. These are the words like very new to me.
Yeah.
I learned after like 2 years of time only. I learned like, okay, these are the things that will work in a mobile game development.
Yeah.
It's not like pure organic. Like I think like by 2018, organic is stopped.
True.
Completely stopped.
True.
And 2020, it's zero.
Yeah, it was actually a survival period for a lot of time.
Yes.
Cool, man. So yeah, like Weloadin started back in 2015 in Chennai.
Yes, in Chennai.
How's the scene in Chennai? And even at that time, I think it was not very big. It should have been like you might have been like the first few companies, independent companies in Chennai. How is the scene there?
It is good actually. There are like a lot of studios right now.
Right now.
Yeah. There are like before we have like Next Wave. That's one of the biggest studio in Chennai.
Yeah.
And after that, like we had Hybro Interactive. They make like Indian train simulators. Then we have Hammer Play Studios. They make games for Geo mobile games. Like their business style is just completely unique. They focus on the secondary stores, not the primary ones. So and they are successful with it. And they all of the games have better quality in that. So at that time, like we have like only 3 studios, like recognized studios, I would say. And then there are a lot of indie studios as well. Like I don't want to mention the names, but like I see like a lot of studios have been shut down.
Correct.
And surprisingly, like we survived every burials and like we were jumping. We missed all the death penalties and all. Like
we parried.
Yes, dodge, parry. Everything we done, and like somehow like how we dodge and parried is we adapted to the scenes. Absolutely. Actually.
Yeah.
So we were doing like premium games. Apple Arcade came and the market went down. There is like that 2 years, I think like for every one of us, like it's a very hard time.
Yeah.
There is no way to make revenue out of games.
Yeah.
And once we that time like we switched to servicing actually. That's the time like that we opened up a studio and started to hire people, a small studio, and like started to hire people and started to take servicing projects. Sometimes that time also like we won't get servicing projects, and like sometimes we have to do poster designs, banners, whatever the things that the softwares we know.
Yeah.
Things will come up and like we have to do, and like we just give it for the money. It supported us. So this is how we were surviving for like some time. And then like we got some game servicing from Super Gaming and Hammer Play as for multiplayer games. There we did some games for 1 year. That really helped us actually in terms to explore the multiplayer things as well.
Yeah.
And by the time like I'm almost fed up with the servicing and everything, and like I figured out like this won't go for a very long time. You don't. It's very hard to do that. And also I'm feeling like bad about ourselves itself because we are not doing what we wanted to do. It was a very hard period for me and Dilip.
See, that kind of realization is also important because a lot of people just keep pushing without realizing or accepting that okay, this is not working, I need to move to a different direction. I can totally relate with your journey of what's happened
Yeah.
over the years. For us also, it was like B2B, then F2P, then COVID came in, then
Yeah.
survival, then hyper casual. From there, then again a product, and then eventually landing up to IHP. I'm sure your journey is exactly, there's these stages where we just made sure that we pivoted and we survived.
Survive. I think like till now, like we have to survive, because like after that, what hyper casual happened. Okay, I think that's where it worked out for us.
Yeah.
Because we and Dilip understood one thing. Okay, you are making premium games. Okay, you're making games that you like. That is like very niche audience that it has, but no one cares what you build. Okay, so
Yeah.
we got to a hard realization. Okay, sometimes you need to find a midpoint where like you love what you do,
Yeah.
and also the people love what you make.
Yeah.
So it's a very hard line we cracked, and I think like that's how we cracked Bloody Boots right now. And hyper casual, if you ask me openly, I don't like my games. I don't like my games because like we acted in these games according to the market.
Correct.
And its demand. And surprise, we had a little bit of innovation and things that we had. Like let's say like for the desert DIY, I would say we have like right now.
Yeah. Before getting into that, just give us like a top line of all these hyper casual games that you made. How much did they work? And then let's get into the technical part of it.
Okay, fine. So from 2020, like hyper casual era started. Okay, it started with the, I don't remember the balloon game.
Bust.
I think yeah, that is the first thing I guess. And Voodoo were making a lot of games.
Yeah.
And that time, like all the publishers have this competitions kind of a thing. Like
Correct.
you need to put your games, and they will see
bring the prototype. And give us...
They will give us a paper prototype payment.
Yeah.
When we got the payment from that, like we that is kind of a servicing. Like you do something, you get paid.
Yeah.
But at least we had this feel that we are working on our own games.
Yeah.
So we started from there. Slowly we started stopping servicing, and like we were testing. Like it was like me and Dilip, not anyone in the studio. And everyone else is taking care of the servicing one. Me and Dilip used to work, like 4 games per week.
Wow.
4 game prototypes per week. And we will like, because we have that chemistry between both of us. Like we know like what I think, like I know what he thinks.
Yeah,
so
that's the beauty of having a co-founder, man.
Yes. So like if before he says something, okay, like I understood, like I'll start to code. Like even before I say something, he'll start to change
married.
It. Yeah. Happily married to Weloadin, I guess.
Yeah. So that basically helped you accelerate the amount of prototypes that you...
Yes. It was like we made around 20 to 25 prototypes in the last 6 months when we started doing, and we are testing out with all the publishers from Voodoo, Lion, Crazy Labs. But luckily we had a good chemistry with Crazy Labs, and we saw this pattern. So the first hit we got is rubber band cutting.
Yeah.
So that one was it's an Instagram reel. When you see, right, like that's an Instagram. You will be wrapped up with the rubber bands in iPhone, and you cut it, rubber band, and the iPhone reveals.
Right.
So this is the one that me and Dilip, like we usually have the screenshots as well, like where we got it. So at night, like we sent the reel, and like he also sent me the same reel. Okay, fine. We'll try this because at that time soap cutting was a huge hit.
Yeah.
Firescore Interactive. So soap cutting is a hit. So we saw the connections between these games, the ASMR factor, the simple controls, and the cutting stuff. So what we thought is, because in the last the games that we tested, everything would be like something unique only. Okay, so that's the point we realized. Okay, it's unique is fine. You are showcasing your talent, like your thing is fine. But like, do the audience understand? No.
Yeah.
Then we took this rubber band thing that people used to see. Just people is seeing this, make a game out of it.
Yeah.
Let's see how the CPI is. we got like 11 cents CPI
Nice.
for rubber
nice.
band cutting.
Yeah.
So that's the moment, like, okay, this is the game that we need to work on. And then we built a content for like 1 or 2 months. It got launched at November, I guess, November 2020 it launched. And right now it has like 23 million downloads.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And
And then when you're okay, just for the audience, the standard number, the standard metrics that usually we look at is 30 cents
yeah.
or below, and the game that you made had like 11 cents.
Yes,
And
yes.
I also remember this that particular time, no, we were like crazy looking for these short reels on TikTok and Instagram
Yes.
just to figure out what is that new trend that is ASMR-ish.
Yes.
Plus, people are crazy behind. Soap cutting was one of that, rubber band. Then there was a lot of t-shirt dyeing thing,
Tie-dye.
tie-dye,
Yeah.
then hair salon and all that stuff.
Yes.
It was a crazy time, and it was a golden period for a lot of independent developers to
Yeah.
quickly try prototypes and get paid for that. And fortunately, if that number goes high, the CPI comes at a good sweet spot, then there's a chance of getting this game published by a huge publisher.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy times.
That's
man.
crazy. Like then, like we were like that time we started to see revenue in our studio.
Yeah.
This is the moment I like we both were breathing freely.
Yeah, the first time after 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Like the things that everyone needs to know. Like surviving, it's very hard. Like you won't get proper sleep.
Yeah.
You always have the thing in your mind. Like whether I'm doing it right or wrong. Like did I do right? Like or did I fucked up already?
Yeah.
I don't know whether I can use
Yeah,
that.
you can. You
Okay. Okay. So this
Swear
is
all you want.
so this is like it'll be on my mind all the time. So I think like if you're okay to deal with it, it's
You
up
need
to you.
to actually be mentally prepared. That's what I also recommend people. This looks like a glamorous thing,
Yes.
and it is. At the end of the day, it is.
At the end of the day, it is.
Yeah, but the amount of mental, or the patience that you need to reach to that point by just keep doing what you're supposed to do is crazy, man. It's mentally you need to be very focused on calm about it.
Yes. Because like it looks like 5 years to make a revenue from our games.
Yeah.
So the small games and which is on trend and like everyone is playing, that's the truth. Like and okay, that we don't burn much budget with it. So I see like many of the devs are like making big games.
Yeah.
I mean like the new people I would say that like yeah, if you have money, like burn all you want. And if you want to try, happy to try. But if you don't have money, you're looking for like investment kind of a thing. But I don't think so. Anyone will go for investments.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to crack the market with the stuffs you have, with the development pipeline, the timeline, the budget. And without an experience, I don't think so anyone could be funding. Like even like you and me won't fund it.
We even having this kind of credibility and a track record of building games, it becomes difficult to actually convince investors because from investors' point of view, it's correct, right? It's not that easy, right?
But if you have money, if you have money, you can do the things on yourself and you can promote your game. If you can do that, like I would say, like go for it.
Yeah.
Worth trying.
Yeah. Suppose that you're saying today you have 23 million, 25 million downloads on Rubber Band.
Yeah.
Then you had the biggest hit, which was Desert DIY.
Yeah.
Talk about that game.
Yeah. So after rubber band cutting, we were in a safe spot. Okay. Now we can like pivot to the market and like see how we can make a game that crosses like 100 million downloads. This is the agenda that we had when started.
Oh, you had that in mind already?
Yes, we had that in mind from the day zero.
Okay.
From yesterday, I would say. So 100 million downloads. How do I reach? Like, so that time Crazy Labs like having crazy games, like, many games like having like 100 million downloads.
Yeah.
So we thought like, just take out the games. So biggest one is like phone case DIY. But sadly, like we also have the phone case DIY idea to pitch. But like 1 week later, like they released the game in Crazy Lab. So they said like we already worked on this game. So damn, like we missed that one. Okay, fine. So Desert. We thought like, phone case DIY and tie-dye, acrylic nails, and what else? I think these 3 games will be fine. So these 3 games have like 100 million downloads. It all stands to the trend, and it also connects to the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, and also because these are the connections that we saw. So it had like lifestyle, trend, ASMR factor, and one more thing is ad compatibility. This one I always recommend if you are building something, a game for mobile games and to cover the masses, it should have a strong ad compatibility thing where you can, let's say you can adapt the ads according to the current trend.
Okay.
I'll give an example later on after I explain all the Desert DIY stuff. So the Desert DIY, we thought like, okay, lifestyle, these are the common connections that we see. We need to build a game through this. And we saw this cold stone ice cream thing that we have in the YouTube, right? Like, so you'll click and you roll and everything. So there, like one moment I saw this, they cut it into cubes and they do it. So it was something different, but it was the same thing. So we thought like we'll make that one. We put jelly, like it wobbles. So these are the factors that, attracts people in an ad.
Yeah, the fluidity.
Yeah, the fluidity thing. You scrape the sound and like everything pops, like, physics kind of thing. So these are the things that attracts people more. And also it's food connected with the lifestyle. The things that I said, the jelly, it's all connected to the ASMR factor.
Yeah.
And it should be in part to part, like a day-to-day life. The reason why phone case DIY worked a lot is you play your game in mobile and obviously you have your phone in your hand all the time. So that's the thing that, attracts people, covering the masses.
Correct.
I said, no, this is the one how it covers the masses. So it should be part to part. It should be in a day-to-day lifestyle. So food, obviously, it's a part of your needs. It's a day-to-day thing. So food is a good category. And this ice cream, obviously everyone likes ice cream. The kids, the women, men, everyone like ice cream, desserts. So we thought like, okay, we'll name it like Desert DIY. We'll have this thing as a main in front, and then we'll have like, popsicle, all the desserts kind of things that we'll add, and like we'll make it as a level. So we followed the same pattern that we followed for the phone case DIY, all the old games that Crazy Labs had. We did nothing new. We just added the new mechanics there. And we got like around, I think, around 30 to 35 cents, I guess. I don't remember much, but like that's what it is. So after that, we moved on to, it was like 1 year of development. It was 1 year development actually. There were a lot of times, we had this talks internally with Crazy Labs. We got stuck in the ARPU stage. So ARPU is basically average revenue per user. So we passed all the day 1 retention, day 7, day 3 retention, but we stuck in the ARPU phase. We were testing multiple builds and like, the branches, new stuffs. It got jammed and like some data has been lost. So we couldn't recover the last data. Like, why it was different, showing the data is different from this one. But we were almost there to release. Just the ARPU needs to be there. But thanks to Crazy Labs, they said like, okay, let's put it out and try. It's worth trying it out.
Yeah.
So that time, at the same time, like we scaled. We started the scaling. So we started acquiring users from all over the world. And at that time, we got that idea to make a nasty desert, because the ad that worked in Desert DIY is you put some cockroaches, poop, everything you mix and you give us a dessert and people will vomit. So this is the ad creative that, and this is the moment I realized, okay, people mindset like totally different from what we think. We always used to think, okay, it should be nice, it should be what to say, it shouldn't be offensive and all. But sadly, like, people like that. So we have to tease their inner evil thing, I would say.
That's the
inner humor.
psychology behind the ads that
Yes,
we see,
we need to bring that out, like make them. So we had this idea called make a nasty dessert inside the game directly itself. We thought like it worked in the CPI, why don't we have it in the game also? Here we had a narration to it, where when a boyfriend or girlfriend comes, he asks a dessert to revenge his ex. So we call it as revenge levels. So to revenge his ex, to revenge his ex-boss. So all these things they had, and like they're making the game nicely done. And it worked out. When we scaled up and this build got launched, and the numbers have been changed drastically.
Wow.
And in a week, like, we went to top charts in 108 countries, and we were in number 1 actually that time. And in 3-4 months span, like, we easily hit 50 million downloads.
Crazy.
In 2 months or 3 months, we hit. That's like fastest 50 million downloads. Because of that impact, it happened. It might not work out if Crazy Labs dumped the game, not believing us, because this is where like you build connections with the publishers.
Absolutely. Relationships.
Yes, the relationship matters more. So you whatever, like, your game is good, like sometimes they know, but due to the metrics and the market, like sometimes it won't work. They would feel. But trusting and putting it out, that made a change, I guess. That is a moment like we were again coming back to zero, because the revenue started to low down in Rubber Band in 1 year, and like again we were like the neck of the moment, like it's gonna get dumped, and
parried. So how many downloads do you have for Desert DIY?
Desert DIY we have like around 120 million.
120 million.
Yeah.
Any rough estimate of how much revenue?
It would be over 1 million, I would say.
Wow. And that's like a small team.
Yeah, it was like I think Desert we did around 1, 2, 3, 4 people, 5 maximum, I guess. The Rubber Band, like only to me and Dilip, and like some of the devs and artists helped us. And but Desert DIY, like I worked on the programming part, like 20%, I would say. That's it. So rest of things, even now we are doing live ops for the games. It changed to multiple devs right now.
Got it.
It was just going through the old base that we had, but like right now the game has been improved because new people started to come in, and like now it's fine. That was like 5 to 6 member studio that time, and then we started to work on multiple games, and then the next journey started.
Yes. And I want to talk about that, the most important and exciting part of your journey now, and also probably why you ever started the studio, is to create like a PC console title. How's the journey with Bloody Boots, winning Sony IHP? Tell me about it.
It was a long journey. It was a very emotional journey as well for me, because me and Dilip, when we started Weloadin, we have no idea to make a PC and console game. Even like when we started doing our game development courses, maybe Dilip had an idea to start his own company, but I don't. I thought like I'll just work on some of the bigger games because I like gameplay programming. That's my favorite one. But I don't see any opening in gameplay in bigger studios here in India. So I thought like, okay, we'll make ours to games. So that's how it started. So we never thought like we'll open a studio. Even when we opened studio, we thought like Dilip used to say like we'll be there for the mobile game. That's it. And we always stay for the premium games, not to the other things. It changed. Okay, then we were making hyper casual games. We were like we always wanted to be like this, small 20-member team, and like not to scale up. Then the next window knocked, and we said like we'll try it out. And that's where like the concept of Bloody Boots came in. we found there are like many connections that what we learned from hyper casual in terms of covering the masses that applied to this game. So we had like 100% sure like it's worth trying. 100% sure it's worth trying. Not even 99.9%. It's 100% sure worth trying it out. Even if it had like 1% of less hope, like I would have not done. Frankly, I'm saying I would have not done. I would not jump into game development without a proper budget, without a proper funding. Always we have wanted to make a PC and console game, not at this level. We wanted to make something like, small indie games, or like Phasmophobia kind of a survival,
Got it.
or like Valheim kind of a thing. It's bigger, but like we never thought like we would go something big.
Yeah.
So, but when we had this idea, we thought like in all multiple directions how this concept can be done.
Yeah.
Can we go for a platformer? Can we go for a top-down view, small kind of a thing? But we thought like any of this concept someone gonna do, so better we do directly as a third-person action adventure. So that's how it started.
Yeah, I'm sure you can't talk about
I can't
the
talk
core
about
of
more.
the game. And I really loved it when I actually played it last year.
Yeah. Last year? I think 2 years.
Last year.
Last year you saw the first one. Remember, like I got you, bro. Come. I sneaked you.
I think 2 a.m. at night.
Yeah, you, Himanshu.
Yeah, we went to your room at IGDC and we saw the game. Bro, I'm telling you, the game, the concept, the core gameplay is crazy. And I totally understand why you can't really talk about that game's core mechanics, because it's something that is very unique and could be like snatched away very easily. But yeah, I was super impressed, and the polish that you guys have reached with your team internally is also great. How has that been translated into you winning an IHP?
So first thing, like we were in what do you say? We heard the news, guys, that Sony is trying to invest in few companies. Somehow through our contacts, and I think we reached Sujit.
Yeah.
So we were in a call. That time we had like only one a GIF, an animatics that been done with the game.
Yeah.
We showed the GIF, and like actually like after that, like in 2 days, like again Sujit reached back to us. I sent this to my boss, and like who's Hector, like then they liked it. They sent. So they said like okay, like till that moment, like we were like okay, we don't know whether we are doing it right or not, but like we said this is the idea. This is the one-liner of the game.
Yeah.
This is the mechanic. We just pitched the mechanic, not the story, nothing we pitched. We just pitched the mechanic. This is what it is. This is set in an entertainment island, I would say right now, because I officially said that.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. This is it. But we don't have any other backstories for the game. Nothing it was there.
Yeah.
But just the mechanic we had.
Yeah.
So that they really liked actually.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on other things, the first thing they asked, like, is it gonna be Indian mythology? Like even we asked the question, do you think like we can make this like an Indian culture based things? And like they asked us like, are you targeting for the Indian audience? No.
Yeah.
Like, are you targeting for global? Yes.
Right.
So if you're going for global, it doesn't need to be an Indian based.
Yeah.
And we also felt like it doesn't need to be like that.
Correct.
We want to cover the whole audience, not only to the Indian audience, people who actually buy.
Right.
So we thought, okay, let's not bring in the things, but there are few elements I personally love to keep it inside the game. There will be something, but it won't be directly representing the game. I mean, like our Indian cultures,
right,
or the things that we see.
Right.
So it'll be like a independent of multicultural kind of things as well. So you won't know like what it is. It's a world that we set like that.
Yeah, a lot of developers. Since we won IHP last year, I've been talking to a lot of folks who are having these games, potential games, which can probably be a part of IHP or any other programs or get a publisher, right? When they heard about us winning it, or this year cohort to
Yeah, yeah.
you guys winning it.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to their minds, and this is because I spoke to them, right, is like, is it that easy to just go pitch the game to any to Sony specifically or to any publishers and then get this deal quickly? I am like, no, boss. This has been like a conversation for more than 3 years, and then eventually we landed up having that Sony IHP deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly what you guys are also.
You
Like
were
I said,
ahead 1 year before us, I
yeah,
guess, no?
like I said, like I saw the build 2 years back.
Yeah, yeah.
They announced you
Right
this, this I think 2-3 months back.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy. Eventually this also connects to the point that you mentioned earlier, which is about building connections, building relationships in a way where people really try, slowly believe in your credibility, that you can actually pull this off. Because all of us, like your game, my game, it's bigger.
Yeah.
It's something that all of us are doing for the first time. That scale of a game for the first time. But how would publishers or Sony would believe in you is because it took us time to make them believe in us. With the credibility, with the relationship, with every factor that was required, and we delivered on time. Right from creating the budget sheets to creating the mocks to even the GIFs, right? It's not that easy. What's your take on that, man?
So yeah, it's like probably I would say, the one that I told in the beginning, remember, when I launched my first game, I put it in the store and I expect things to happen. I was frustrated. I started to, fed up and okay, fine. It's not going to work out. Why people not loving that same frustration? I think they have right now. So I think they'll learn. They will learn when time comes. They will learn what it is. So, so that's all I can say. It's all about frustration. We also used to have that frustration.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when reality hit hard, you know that. And, because when we pitched the things, right, the GIF that I said, that is one thing. The next thing we were meeting Hector after like 8 months, I guess. That time we had a small prototype. Not 8 months, I don't know, November 2022. We pitched the GIF, the concept.
2022.
We pitched the concept and November 2022, and then like 23 May, before the IHP is getting announced, we met Hector, and so this Hector that time came to India.
Yeah.
That time also that build had just the mechanic. It's not polished at all. It's just putting out the things and testing out, because we jumped to Unreal Engine for this game.
Yeah.
We were using Unity and we were jumped into Unreal thing. So we were learning stuff that time. We did some, right now if we took and see that, but they really enjoyed that time itself. So that gave us a lot of confidence. Okay, this is not even right. Like, we know it's not even like 1% close to what we want, but like they still liked what the concept is. Then May, they announced it, the cohort one. We were about to come to apply for cohort one as well, but like sadly we couldn't apply earlier. They said just take time, build it and come back to us. So that is when now the next 23 November, we met Yoshida-san, Shu and Hector. They came, I remember the moment that I pitched to you, Shu. I was like little nervous. We both were little nervous. Okay, fine. Shu, people who we see on screens. He's here. Okay, let's go pitch it. When we started to pitch, we had some trouble connecting to the thing. Okay, we were nervous, and Shu was not patient. So he was concentrating on his phone. We thought okay, fine. Then we put our presentation. We sold this is our studio. This is what we did in past with our games. Then the next slide, the same GIF with the full quality. This is the moment Sony didn't see the new version of the 50% version of the game, I would say that time. When they saw it, they said after in March to November, it's 8-7 months, it improved a lot. And Shu really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I see Shu, like, came towards the controller and started to play the game. That was a moment like, okay, fine, we did something good
validation.
now.
That was
Yeah.
a great validation.
Our life has been, okay, this is the right thing that you did in your life. That's the moment that I felt. Me and Dilip both, I would say. And like he started to enjoy the game, and like they were like Hector and everyone, they see a lot of potential. They said like many things like that. The next question asked, like, what's the budget?
Yeah.
Okay, how many animation things you have? How many levels you have? We were like that time unrealistic. I was like, right now I have to say here, I guess we've overscoped the game. We were having like lot of levels, scenarios, lot of bosses and all, and the budget shooted up high. So we thought like, okay, this is not going to work out. They are not comfortable about the budget. Then the next cohort started. So this is the time, like, that's the time like I showed you the game first time. That time like the cohort one is not announced. Like everyone like very confused like what the scene is, like whether we're gonna get the IHP or not. This is the one thing that, like, luckily like I didn't apply, so I didn't worry that much. So fine. Then it happened. IHP has come out and you guys won, and a couple of other studios also like Gautam and everyone won. Like it was a good thing happened, and then like that gave us a breathing space to think of all the scope, the budget, rethinking the things. Okay, where are the budgets are getting high? How we can fix this in terms of design? So overscoping, cut off the things that we don't need. See how you can add things that will make the players to buy your game and try it out. Even if it's a small good experience, it's fine. So this is the thing that we had. We had like 2 to 3 drafts of stories rewritten, and like if you take like one story under, it's gonna be in a different genre. It's gonna be in different in a different vibe as well. Once we make the combat thing again and again and again and again, that where we found the soul of the game.
Got it.
That's when like we got the Bloody Boots title at 2023, I guess. 2 years, 2 years. It's sort of like we finalized the name Bloody Boots. It is, and but the story, who are the characters, what is the setting? We know just it's an entertainment island. What we need to know. Then only we explored a lot of stuff. We got like we fell into the junk punk, and we set up the world as like why it is junk punk, and why the people are here, and what it is. So all these things have been covered, and the last piece of the puzzle is what the vibe of the game. So that's the reflection of the poster that you had.
Got it. Cool, man. And can you tell me just like one thing? I know it's early, but you started working with Sony now. In the span of like 3-4 months that you spent with them, what is that one takeaway that you get from working with them?
The main reason I approached Sony is more than the funds, I need to learn stuff. You can make a prototype, you can make the first playable, but
the amount of learning.
When it comes to release the game, clearing all the bugs, you need a lot of guidance there, which we don't have.
Correct.
More than the budget, see, like even like I told you, remember, like we had the plans to do a PC and console game, but not this one. Something else. But like we always thought like we'll make sure we have enough budget built with the mobile games, and then we jump into PC and console. This was our plan. If Sony is not publishing, I mean, like making this program happen, we would have not done Bloody Boots.
Correct.
It's purely made to go in IHP, like how we did for the desert, right? Like we want to hit 100 million downloads. We focused on that. This is like we wanted to go with Sony. So with the IHP thing, to learn the things in game development apart from what we know. So this is the one thing that we all had in mind. This is the thing that I wanted to reduce my budget as well. I'm fine with reducing my budget. Even if it's a small game, I learned the tech
Yeah,
that will help
the
me to
overall,
make like
yeah, the
bigger
overall
games.
production cycle plus getting to that launching a fully polished product with Sony is a
Yeah,
different learning. Today, I'm very sure, like what we are also doing, we are having like 4 to 5 calls every week with
yeah, yeah.
Sony, and that's just incredible, man. And I can uh, definitely say very few people in India at this point really know uh, what they are doing and what should be done, that basically Sony is helping us
Yeah.
with, right?
Luckily, like we had this clarity, like what will sell, what will not, and but in terms of optimization things, and like you can obviously bring the quality, you can
Yeah,
obviously build the mechanics, you can obviously do all the things, but like when you launch it to the multiple devices, apart from PlayStation, PC, and everything, you have a lot of optimization. You can't
correct.
just like put the
Yeah,
game right
there's
away,
no,
and like
there's,
there is no forgiving for there won't be any forgiveness, I would say. You can survive like, oh, this is a first game, like this is what we did, okay, fine, like but
or at the end of the
no,
day, you're
no,
competing globally,
yeah,
and a lot of people again have this confusion. There's no button to port it
ah,
to console. You're making a PC game and then I'll click one button and I'll port it to console. It doesn't happen like that. You need a proper plan for that.
definitely, because that's where like we were like learning a lot of stuff. Even like they also like even like we do some R&D, we tell our own things that like this is the pipeline that have been set up, and sometimes they also like get to know things from us as well. So we were like, they also say this openly, like it's not everything that we say, right? Like we are open to say the ideas. That is one thing that like we mutually working like it would be like a collab kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
It
yeah.
won't be like a demanding stuff. So there are a lot of things that we also researched on our things, and like they also we learned from the thing, especially with the nanite lumen and
Yeah,
everything. And since I told, this is the first Unreal game, we haven't explored Unreal game yet.
yeah,
So it was a good learning process. We also do some prototypes in Unity to get the things done fastly, so that like we implement the same technique to the
yeah,
Unreal. Why we can do this is like because we understood the principle, the core of the development, the core programming we know, code design. So these are the factors that help. Like it's always the parameters you switch high, low, and all these
yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's about games, man. But there's one common love that we have for is
Movies.
movies, man. Yeah, for people who don't know, we keep on sharing all the all the nice or interesting movies. In fact, I am Maharashtrian, but you
Tamil.
Tamil,
Yeah, Malayalam
but
movies.
we share Malayalam movies a
Yeah.
lot, and I've been like binge watching those movies for last 2 years. Like it's like a series of all the movies that I could watch, right from
Yeah, yeah.
Mammootty to Basil Joseph today. Dude, tell me, man, why do you think like these? And this is probably off topic, but I want to know from your point of view
Mm.
also. Why do you think this Malayalam movies are to a different level? The storytelling is absolute, because that's what the overlap is, the
Mm.
storytelling angle to it. Like I am a big storytelling fan, and I believe I do decent when it comes to actually all of this stuff. And there's a great learning that I'm getting from watching these movies, because Mukti plays a there's a big part of Mukti that is connected to
Mhm.
to to movie making and all that stuff that I'll
Mhm.
probably talk about later. But
Yeah.
why do you think they're like class apart?
um, sc- Scoping less, not over scoping with their budget, because they know their budget.
Yeah,
They know the real facts. Why they need to keep it low. Okay, so there are things that it needs to be at this scale. This is where they explore the things of interesting storytelling, the narration, the plots, interesting plots.
yeah,
In games, you can say interesting mechanics.
yeah,
This is how we can connect.
yeah,
So these are the things that you can have. That's one thing it's working on. And also one of the interesting stuff is these people, like who Basil Joseph or
Fahad.
Fahad, Dilish Potan. So these people, like they act, they write, they direct. So it's not like they stuck under one thing.
Got it.
So they are like they have this love for the cinema. They just like swap their roles here and there. They will try stuff. Basil Joseph directed Minnal Murali, which was
Yeah.
like it was like one of the favorite Indian superhero movie that I have
Yeah.
in my mind. Like imagine the things like sometimes every time when I say like if you want to go for like global like like make something the local scenes like westernized it, I would say.
Yeah.
Westernized the things. You used to have the same chase sequence as Flash, but with the lungi.
Yeah.
That's the touch that they had. And when you have a superpower, you always have this mind to the fan was rotating like you grab the fan. So that is the first thing when he got the power he'd do. So that relates.
There's a lot
so
of
much,
relatability.
So
one thing that I try to dig into this is because you rightly said there's always like they swap roles, they swap things, right? What I felt was the community is so close that they help each other.
Yes.
This is what I tried to crack, right?
Yeah.
All of these people are writers, directors, actors. They come together. Like if someone wants to make a low budget, like a nice experimental movie, these people come together. Probably some of them will finance it also, and then they make it happen.
Yeah.
And you'll always see in the credits, you'll always see all of them somewhere in
Be a part of it.
be a part of it, right? And that is a beauty. I think that is something I feel we as a gaming community today are at that spot where we could do this. We could do this to make it big as a community together.
Yeah. This is because this is the right time we all act together, I would say. Like we were like, that was like small indies, we were together, but like the new people coming in, like I don't feel like, they are just working in different directions.
Yeah.
The sad things is like they are doing the things that we already did and like, didn't work out. Like it's sometimes like if we go and say to them also, they don't completely.
They get offended.
Yeah. So okay, fine. Like we can't force much as well. Like we always like, we say like, help them or like just say them, that's it. Like we can't like, keep warning them every time,
Yeah, sometimes see. Recently, also there was a situation that happened. Like people tell me, there's a trailer that came, and why didn't you comment on that trailer? It's because we've done that before. We've seen that failing before.
Yeah.
And I've done that enough that I've gone and told people that don't do this and all that. Now I'm not getting into it because, like you said, they get offended. Really.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go and tell them just to demotivate them, and then I don't comment on it because I see it's a mistake. It's we've already done that, but yeah, the community thing that I'm talking about, like it's super important.
And right now the things are like even like the movies, like let's talk from movies as well. So you got this taste from movies actually. Right now. If you see like large scale pan Indian movies like Pushpa or like whatever it is, like it always have this factor to virality stuffs. Putting the things out, people started to watch. This is a basic only Indian mindset. It's Indian people mindset, I would say. Expecting the same strategy to work here, I'm not so sure. Maybe it can work, it might not work, but practically there like no data shows that they have like these, you can make these kind of games and survive only with the Indian audience. We always have this mindset to see the bigger screens, bigger heroes, to get inspired, and we want to be like that. So it's basically like, even if you don't think of that way, you always have that in your mind. Why people are loving it, why they like chase all these things, so you need to do something big. So this is the mindset they come up with. Fine, you can do the big if the market we have are like ready to buy your game, you can do it.
Got it.
Why Wukong worked out? Because they had the market there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not only dependent on outsiders. It's dependent totally on them. It's because it was easy for them to market and all.
Yeah, 60, 70,
Yeah,
I
if
think
you talk
percent.
about mobile games, obviously I would say like yes, you can do it. You can target Indian audience. You can do, but with the PC and console, I highly doubt it right now.
Yeah,
If someone proved us wrong, I would be hands down. Like I would like gladly give a
yeah,
standing ovation for them. Like yes,
yeah,
that worked out, and I think like that time this is the right time for everyone to move. I think Raji did that. Raji did that. It was since it was the first game, they got the breakthrough. But like, if we gonna have like more games coming in, I think like more than that, we developers do the games only focusing on audience. They have to target like globally.
yeah,
You can say like globally because it has an Indian culture. It's a global thing. But right now, I started to see many of the trailers below, like westerners, like people who actually wants to buy games and all, they were like, stop showing a cinematic, show the gameplay, show the
yeah,
gameplay. This is what they demand. So people need to think in that way, like
yeah.
what is the right time to do that.
Got it. Before we wrap it up, let me know about the future of Weloadin. What do you see?
uh in Weloadin, like when we learned from hyper casual, we always had this mindset to you're making video games. It's not limited to mobile, it's not limited to PC console, it's not limited to install games
Browser.
or anything. Like it's you have the love for video games,
Yeah,
okay? Just make video games. And like and you have to survive with it. What you will do, like if any of the market crashes, if it like there is no smartphone, like there is no PC and console, what you will do, how you will
correct,
survive later on.
correct.
So in this way, like we always had this, like we have a plan A, B, C. So we will focus on making games, video games. It doesn't matter like what
Which
platform it is.
platform? Yeah,
So it's basically all of game design tech. Like I previously mentioned, like it's always like keeping the parameter like how much it is. So since we know the core design, core development mode, we always have the mind to where we need to keep the notch high, where we need to lower it down,
yeah,
adapting to the audience. So these are things that we majorly focus on. So I can do games that covers like 60 plus people
yeah.
also. I know the notch how it should be. So this is how we usually working on Weloadin. So I would say like it'll be like fun working. That's it.
Yeah,
Nothing else in mind. Adaptiveness, I would say, in
yeah,
short, in one word, adaptive to the industry.
yeah. But big bloody boot is the focus right now.
Yes, Bloodywood is the first focus right now, but like we also work on mobile games. So we have like two entities, like Weloadin Mobile Games, which is taking care of Weloadin Mobile Games,
Yeah,
the hybrid casual stuff. That's going on site. And major part, like 80% or 85, 90%, I would say, 90% of the people are working in Bloody Boots. So we have like around like 40-member team right now.
crazy man, and all of that without raising a single
Yeah,
rupee
without
from
racing,
investors.
no.
Super man,
Cool.
loved the whole conversation. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. It
It
was
was a
pleasure.
pleasure. Cheers, bro. If you reached to this part in the episode, I'm very sure you've liked the conversation that we had. If you like the video, please leave a like and start a conversation in the comment section below. We've also added the links to our guest in the description, so please do check out. Also, if you're finding this video or the channel for the first time, do consider subscribing to the channel because that will help us bring in more amazing guests on this podcast series. That's it for this episode. Thank you for watching the video.